Hi everyone, Beth here with another super story for you. Do you remember last week we met 4 friends? They were called Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego. And they got taken out of their city, didn't they, by the king of Babylon. He took them away and taught them all the ways of Babylon, and then they served in his city as wise men. Well, one night, the king of Babylon, his name was Nebuchadnezzar, he was in bed and he was tossing and turning one way and another. He got all wrapped up in his sheets. He was having a bad dream. He tossed and turned. He got all sweaty and hot, and then he woke up. He woke up and he was frightened and confused. He had had a bad dream and he didn't know what his dream meant. It was a strange dream and he thought it must have a special meaning. Maybe someone was trying to tell him something, a god or someone like that. He didn't know there was only one god. He thought there were lots. Maybe someone was trying to speak to him through his dream. He was puzzled and confused. He thought to himself, I know what I'll do. And he called all his special advisors to him. The really important ones, the ones who knew more than anyone else. He said, I had a bad dream last night. I want you to tell me what it means. His advisors said, okay, King, we'll do our best. What dream did you have? Well, King said, I'm not telling you what dream it was. If you really were wise people, if you really could tell me what it meant, you would be able to tell me what the dream was as well. Well, the advisors looked at each other. It seemed a bit mad to them. How could they know what someone else had dreamed? They tried to point it out to the king. King, your highness, sir, I don't think anyone can do that. You will tell me, said King Nebuchadnezzar. If you don't, I will have you chopped into little pieces. The advisors did not like the sound of that. And, said the king, I'll have your houses all broken up into rubble. Oh dear, said the advisors. They looked at each other. Okay, they said, please tell us what your dream was. Please tell us, and then we'll tell you what it means. No, the king said, you think I'm not being serious. I am being serious. If you don't tell me what my dream was, I will have you cut into little pieces. If you tell me what it was and what it means, I'll give you great gifts. Come on, tell me what my dream was. Tell me what it means. I'm so worried about it. The advisors looked at each other again. No one can do that, your kingship, sir, they said. No one can tell you what your dream was. Only if there's a God in heaven. That God might tell you, but we can't tell you. Go away, said the king. I don't want to see you anymore, and I'm going to issue an order that all of the wise men in my city will be killed. Well, that got Daniel and his friends a bit worried because, you see, they were some of the wise men. And when the commander came to arrest them, a man called Arioch, Daniel spoke very carefully to him. He said, Why has such an order been sent out from the king? Why does the king want everyone dead? Well, Arioch explained the situation. Daniel said, please let me speak to the king. Arioch did. When Daniel saw King Nebuchadnezzar, he said, King, I can tell you about your dream. You just need to give me a little bit of time. Please, will you give me a little bit of time? The king said, okay then, you have a little bit of time. Go away, come back and tell me what my dream was and what it meant. Daniel went straight home to his friends, to Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego. I need your help, he said. This is what the king says. He says he had a bad dream and I must tell him what the dream was and what it meant. His friends were worried. No one can do that. Daniel said, God can. Please help me by praying to God that I would know what the king dreamed. Well, His friends prayed and prayed and prayed. They asked God and asked God and asked God. And that night, when Daniel went to bed, something incredible happened. God gave Daniel the same dream that King Nebuchadnezzar had had. In the morning, Daniel woke up excited and a bit nervous. He had to go and see the king now. He went to King Nebuchadnezzar. "King Nebuchadnezzar," said Daniel, "I know what your dream was. You dreamt about a big statue. Its head was made of gold. Its shoulders and chest were made of silver. Its stomach and the top of its legs were made of bronze. And the rest of its legs and feet were made of a mixture of iron and clay. You saw a big mountain, and something came and cut a big rock out of the mountain. The rock went towards the statue. It smashed the feet, and the rest of the statue, they fell down and broke into loads of different pieces." That's what you dreamed, isn't it? King Nebuchadnezzar was amazed. "No one else could tell me the dream," he said to Daniel. Daniel said, "No man could tell you the dream, no human could, but there's a God in heaven, and he told me what you dreamt." The king didn't believe it. "How amazing! I can't believe that your God can do that," he said. "Will you tell me what my dream meant?" "Yes," said Daniel. "The top of the statue, the head that's made of gold, that's like your kingdom. It's the best, better than silver, better than bronze, the best kingdom there could be. God's given you your kingdom to be in charge of. The silver and the bronze and the iron and clay, they represent different kingdoms that are going to come after yours. When your kingdom is gone, there will be new kingdoms. Not as good as yours, but they'll be there. The rock, though, that's the kingdom that God will make. One day in the future, God will make a kingdom, and it will be better than all of the rest. It will come and knock down the rest of the kingdoms because it's more powerful. That kingdom that God's going to make, it will last forever. Nothing will ever destroy it." The king was amazed and so excited that God would tell him some of the things that are going to happen in the future. "Your God is amazing," he said to Daniel. "Unbelievable, incredible. What an amazing God." Daniel agreed. And then the king did something special for Daniel. He put Daniel in charge of the city and all the towns surrounding it. Daniel became really important, in charge of so many things. Daniel spoke to the king. "King," he said, "you've given me a really important job. I think I need some help. Will you let my friends help me? Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego. Will you let them help me rule?" The king said yes, so the 4 friends all took part in ruling the city. They were good rulers. It was all because God had helped Daniel. Daniel knew he needed God's help, didn't he? And he knew he needed his friends to help him pray to God. God listened to their prayers and helped Daniel. That's the same as us. Sometimes we find ourselves in tricky situations. It's not very likely there's going to be a king who's going to tell us he's going to chop us up. But we do find ourselves in tricky and sometimes scary situations. But God will always be there to help us, and we can always ask him. I think that's really cool. That's the end of our super story for this week. But you can join me tomorrow for Saturday Craft, and on Sunday for Family Sunday. We're going to learn a bit more about this story then. See you soon. Bye.